This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That was me having a stab at a Steve Rothery solo, namely the solo from the song Sugar Mice, which appears on the album Clutching at Straws from 1987. I believe that's the last album featuring the original singer Fish before, he kind of quit and they got, Steve Hogarth in to continue their illustrious story. I've got a couple of students who are big fans of this band, and so I thought I'd have a little bit of a look at the solo. And the thing I notice about Marillion fans is that you got to get it right, and hopefully I did there, because their fan base is one of the most loyal and protective, I think, fan bases of any band I can think of, really. So I hope to all of you Marillion fans out there that I made a decent fist of that solo, and here's a little bit of an explanation about what's going on in the solo.
Solo explanation. Okay,
starting as always with the chords we are playing over. They look like this. There you can see we've got 20 bars at 62 beats per minute, making this chord sequence, and therefore the solo that's played over it last over a minute. So it goes on a little while is the point I'm making, so I'm not going to basically bore you by going through strumming through that chord sequence. It's G, C, A minor and D arranged in that manner there, like that, and all of those chords come from the key of G major, so unsurprisingly we're going to be using the G major scale and the G major pentatonic for the entirety of this solo. Large parts of the solo are based mainly on the pentatonic, which is the notes of G, A, B, D and E. And for large parts of the solo, when we encounter the remaining other notes, that the C and the F sharp, that you add those into the pentatonic, you get the major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then back to G again. Those two remaining notes, C and F sharp, are just kind of added as garnish in large parts of the solo. Because it's such a long solo, I'm not going to kind of go through each and every lick in sort of massive amounts of detail. We're just going to look at some of the things that make it tick, really. And the first one is, let's have a look at the first lick in the solo. It goes like this, just a straight G major pentatonic run. Like that. Now, there are two things significant, I think, about that run. One is that it's based on a triplet rhythm. Okay, triplets, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, and I'll try and play that and count it so I can kind of demonstrate. So we got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, like that. Okay. Why is that significant? Well, there are a few places in the solo where he wants to kind of stand out. He plays triplets. If you're the only instrument in that particular part of the music which is playing a particular rhythm, then you're going to stand out a little bit. The drums aren't playing triplets. There's nothing in the accompaniment which is playing a triplet kind of rhythm. So playing triplets on top of an accompaniment which is just playing sort of straight 16th notes, basically 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, that kind of thing, is what's going to give it some kind of it's going to make it stand out and be more noticeable. And what a good way to open a solo, by playing something noticeable. The other thing which is significant about that run is that it finishes on a G note. Not unsurprising if we're in the key of G major, but he could have finished it on an E note, or an A note, or a D note, or any of the notes in the scale. F sharp even, if we were using the major scale. But he doesn't. He finishes it on a G note. Why is that? Because that G note is a note which is there in the underlying chord. We're into, if we just take a look at the chord sequence again here, we're into the second bar on the top line there. So that's that C major chord. And the 3 notes in a C major chord are C, E and G. So I don't think it's a coincidence that he decides to kind of not only finish on that G note, a note from the underlying chord, but hang around on it for a significant amount of time, nearly an entire bar. I think he spends 3 out of the 4 beats in that bar on that note, just letting it hang. That works because it's a note that's there in the underlying chord. Then we've got just basically, we can kind of think of it as being in this G major pentatonic pattern now. I would call that pattern 4 of the pentatonic scale. And he plays this little run here. Which all of that is happening over the second 2 bars in the top line. So the G chord to the C chord. I don't know why I'm moving my mouse pointer around. It's not like you can see it on this. But yeah, the bars 3 and 4, the G to the C chord there. And, over that G chord, again, chord note targeting. Okay, bending up to this B note here. B is the major third of the G major chord. So again, he's, focusing on a note that's in the underlying chord. And you see lots of examples of that in the solo. We get a nice little trick when we hit that C chord, though, because he lands on an A note, which isn't in the chord. So that immediately sets up a little bit of tension that is, you're waiting for it to settle, and it's just that delayed gratification. And it settles by landing on this E note here. You can actually physically see, if you play a C chord on the guitar, it has that E note in it there, or wherever you play a C chord, it's going to have an E note in it. So just that little bit of delayed gratification, not always landing on the note that's going to make it sound resolved. It creates a little bit of tension and release, which is, a good thing in a solo. Then we kind of shoot up to this kind of area here. What we can say about this is we're kind of playing more of a full major scale now. We're getting more of the C note coming in as well, so that kind of suggests, because it's not in the pentatonic, that we're getting more of the G major scale. So that's going something like this, basically playing around between this G note and this C note here. Now that little run there, to me, is very, very David Gilmour. We're playing essentially this G major arpeggio here, like this, coming down. You can see there's the G major chord, and just coming down that line of notes there, and then using the C as a way of kind of introducing a little bit of tension, I guess, there. But very David Gilmour. It's reminiscent of, you know, the not comfortably numb, Mother solo. The ending of that. I think Mr. Rothery has probably listened to a fair bit of David Gilmour in his time. So, yeah, again, you don't get much more explicit with chord note targeting other than, you know, just kind of playing just a run based on nothing but the chord notes. Then we're into pentatonic land again, where we get bringing in the F sharp here. And then remember how I said we get, he tends to use triplets when it's, when he wants to kind of stand out and be a little bit different. We're coming up to the D chord here, where the solo kind of changes direction a little bit, because so far we've just been going G to C to G to C. So this is the first new chord that we've encountered. Let's just have a look at the chords again. So this is at the beginning of the third line, that D, A minor, G, C part there. And so he uses triplets, or a triplet on the basically on the beat 4 of the bar that leads into that D. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and like that. Taking the F sharp note there and bending it up to a G, semitone bend, and then releasing it and coming back down to the root note of the chord there, the D. Again, interestingly, delayed gratification. You would expect for the D major chord that you would kind of just, you'd hit that F sharp because it's in the D chord and just stay there, but he doesn't, he bends it so that it's creating a little bit of, oh, I'm not quite ready to settle yet kind of feeling, and then release it back down to the root note there. Does that a couple of times. Then more triplets. Where are we? Focusing on the C note here. This is over the A minor chord. A minor, of course, has a C note in it. And where do we go after that? I can't quite remember, but it's, yeah, let me just get it into context. Oh yes, then we play this little, again, a very, very David Gilmour kind of run like that. Just again reminds me of the of certain sections of that Mother solo from The Wall. And then we go back to, I think we're basically back into this D chord again. Here, where we do a similar thing to last time, bending that F sharp up to the G. Again, delayed gratification. That note there, that G note, isn't in the D chord, but this one is. So what he does this time is, instead of coming down to the D note, he goes like that, and then we've got the A minor chord. So this time, again, not a coincidence. You know, the reason why he's bending this 15th fret note here on the second string is because that takes a D note up to an E note. And E is a note that's in the A minor chord. He's making a conscious choice to bend that note because it's going to take him to a note that's in the underlying chord. And then from there on in, we're pretty much into the closing moments of the solo, where we're just playing chords, really, coming down to this G power chord. And then he does a little bit of kind of going on the third string, like that with the trem, and then going to the C chord. A couple of times here he plays this 5th fret natural harmonic on the second string there, which gives us an E note. Again, a note from the chord, that C chord. And then playing these 3 notes, the open third, the second string at the 3rd fret, and then 1st string at the 3rd fret. That over the sort of C tonality that's going on at the time. That gives us a C add 9 chord. And it's basically that all the way home there, with just a few little fills, like that crops up a couple of times, just pedaling off the B and C notes there, and then little kind of open G major pentatonic. And then, as in all great guitar solos, or a lot of great guitar solos, we save the highest notes for the end, where he plays this kind of pair of notes here, this double stop, the 16th fret on the 3rd string and the 15th on the top E string, so that's a B and a G note. As I say, notes from whatever scale you want to think of, major pentatonic or major scale. There is the climactic moment of the solo before slamming back into the next section of the song on the G power chord. So that is what's going on in this really, I think, well-crafted melodic solo from Sugar Mice by Marillion. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you will find a full tab in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing the solo, that explanation you've just seen there, and a backing track for you to play along with yourself. All of that, as usual, is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to each and every one of you who support me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are, you know where, linked down below. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it informative and useful and hopefully entertaining in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. Why not drop me a like as well while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitar and a whole host of other things. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.